There's the mic. On va commencer la réunion. Roll call, everybody here and accounted for. I'll ask everyone to please stand for the prayer and the national anthem. Attendu que le Canada est fondé sur des principes qui reconnaissent la suprématie de Dieu et la primauté du droit, prenons un moment de réflexion personnelle. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law, let us take a moment of personal reflection. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Item 4, addition, deletion, or amendments. I believe we have under section 11I, authorization to execute a subdivision agreement, PD 66 2018. Any other items from members of council? Councillor Saucier.
Yes, I just wanted to add about the Fireman's Gala,
Okay, 17A, Councillor Saucier for the firefighter gala.
and maybe we could announce the upcoming debate dates,
Okay,
as some members of the community seem to still not be clear on it.
okay, so Councillor Saucier, 17B, debates for upcoming. Anything else, Tad? Councillor Pohl?
I just had a question on something I received in the mail and some people have been asking me about a campaign
Okay,
with regard to information about sewer and water going in.
okay.
Clarification on that.
So Councillor Pohl, question in regards to sewer and water. Perfect. All right, anything else? No? Madame
Hello,
Camelet-Laflamme?
Mr. Mayor. At number 1, the first one you said, there'll be also a bylaw at number 15
Oh.
that will be added with this report.
Okay,
Thank
so 11I and bylaw under section 15.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none. Adoption of the agenda, motion to approve the agenda as presented. Need a mover and a seconder? Councillor Saucier, Councillor Brisson, all those in favor? All those opposed? Yep. Councillor Lorrain?
Wouldn't it be as, sorry, just technicality, but wouldn't it be as amended, not as presented, since we
Well,
amended
the-
it under the number 4?
Okay, because I thought since we made the changes before we get to this section, it's now as presented with these changes, but as amended, either way, that's
Just
fine.
want to make sure.
Yep.
Technicality, I know.
Okay, perfect. Item 6, disclosure of pecuniary interest. I see none. Item 7, adoption of minutes, regular council minutes of September 17th, 2018. Motion to approve the following minutes as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Saucier, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. Questions, comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 8, presentations, we have none. Item 9, delegations, I don't believe, Councilor Lorrain?
I apologize, Madame Committee, I omitted to send an email this morning to you regarding item 9. I ran into Monsieur Lauzon on the campaign trail, and he mentioned that he was unaware that he was on the agenda for this evening, hadn't been notified, and he wasn't able to attend. He would like it to be moved to the November 5th meeting.
Okay, so we'll make the change and we'll notify Mr. Lauzon that we'll double check what the agenda is like at that time, but I don't anticipate any problems having him at that time. So,
We can just make sure he's notified in advance, that's all.
yeah.
Thank you.
Monsieur Leduc?
Mr. Mayor, bonsoir. Can we ask the clerk if the invitation had been sent or not?
Yeah, Madame Camille Laflamme? We'll have to verify to,
Yeah, I don't think we confirm.
okay, okay, perfect. I know the request had come in, but we'll double check on our end and make sure we notify him for November 5th. Okay, parfait. Item 10, consent items. Motion that all items listed under consent items be received as presented. Item A, minutes of the Public Village of Russell, July 10th and August 9th, 2018. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Paul, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 11, reports from departments and council committees. Item A, exemption from 2-year restrictive period for new zoning, for a zoning bylaw amendment following new zoning bylaw report PD 65 2018. That council receives report PD 65 2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and council adopts a resolution to permit a zoning bylaw amendment application for the subject property within the 2-year period where no person or public body shall submit an application for an amendment to any of the new zoning bylaw when replaced as a whole as per Section 34 of the Planning Act. Section 34 of the Planning Act permits that council may, by resolution, allow a specific zoning bylaw application, class of application, or in such applications generally within the 2-year period following adoption of a whole new zoning bylaw. We've all read the report. Questions on the report? Councillor Saucier?
Yeah, I was just curious, do we want to lose commercial space or land on the main street? Being, Notre Dame and Centenaire.
Thank you, Monsieur Leduc. Madame Tremblay?
Good evening. It's a good question. We didn't recommend the other side of the road a couple years ago, I would say last year or the year before, but council decided to move ahead and approve the request that was made back then. So at this point, there's no application yet in front of us. We know for sure it's not going to be commercial. Right now it's commercial in the official plan as well as in the zoning bylaw.
Right.
So both applications are not received yet. We just know it's not going to be commercial. It's going to be some sort of a residential development as well as what we see on the other side.
Right.
But I'm not willing at this point to make any opinion or recommendation based on the application. This is just basically to see if council is willing to receive the application for the zoning amendment bylaw.
Okay, perfect. I think as well that land has been vacant for, God, ever since I can remember, last 8-10 years. It's been designated as commercial. It's been tried to move as commercial, but, there has been no movement and, it's a whole residential area, so I don't think residential would be out of the ordinary in that area, but, in this case, like Madame Tremblay said, it's just to see what the application, if we're willing to accept the application. Councillor Lorrain?
Yeah, I mean, you said exactly that. I mean, we can leave it vacant as commercial for the next 10 years too and not get any tax dollars in from a residential property. It hasn't been able to go just like the other side. It's time to move on from it and get something in there, so.
Perfect. Other questions, comments? No? Quelque chose d'autre à ajouter, Madame Tremblay? No? Okay. We'll move on. Item B, authorization to execute a subdivision agreement, report PD 66-2018. C'est pas la même chose qu'on vient juste d'ajouter à section I? Oui. OK. So c'était juste le rapport qu'on n'avait pas reçu encore, mais là, on l'a reçu. So when we get to E, we'll remove it since it's exactly the same as this. Okay. Madame Camille Laflamme?
Or we can deal with it as B if you prefer.
Well, we're there now. We might as well deal with it as B and go ahead. Okay. Question, commentaire in regards to quelque chose à ajouter, Madame Tremblay, parce que c'est la première fois que le conseil, on vient juste de le recevoir. Là. So it's essentially just to the authorization to execute a subdivision agreement. It's pretty standard.
Yeah, through Mr. Mayor, the application, this is a subdivision that has been going on for many years. The services are installed in phase one as a pre-servicing agreement. The conditions are almost completed as per the subdivision agreement, so we're in front of you tonight to have a bylaw adopted for the mayor and the clerk to sign the agreement for the subdivision.
For the subdivision.
Ménard West on Saint-Pierre.
Okay. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything else to add? No? Okay, we'll move on to item C, Fence Bylaw Amendment Report PIC 27-2018. The council receives PIC 27-2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and as recommended in this report, approve the proposed amendment to Fence Bylaw 92-2012 to add a section which could give a detailed process for applying for a fence exemption, and that council approves the proposed amendment to the Committee Bylaw 2017-108 to amend Schedule B1 to add in the mandate that the Committee of Adjustment be appointed to hear the fence exemption requests. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Saucier?
I had read that there was a complaint received about the fence in the report.
Yeah, I believe this was in regards to the delegation from Monsieur Rochon that came at the last
Oh,
meeting.
okay, so it wasn't another complaint received.
There was an initial complaint.
Okay. And from the photo, it doesn't look like visibility will be an issue. Just that it's far enough back.
Madame Bordeaux?
It doesn't appear to be an issue. The fence is not installed, so it's a little bit hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the bylaw was written for visibility issues only. I think it was written so we don't have a bunch of boxes in the built-up areas with
Mhm.
fencing all the way up to the street, basically.
And in this case, just for clarification, this is essentially is to put in our fence bylaw the process to appeal or to make an amendment in that case, because currently the bylaw doesn't allow for that. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Further questions, comments? Conseiller Brisson, then Councillor Paul.
Oui, c'est just to clarify that in the case, to be clear with Mr. Rochon, what is going on with this? Because what I mean is, does that mean that if we vote on here, then you will have to apply for the exemption, like c'est quoi, pour l'autre comité, là?
Wait, the Committee of Adjustment?
Le Committee of Adjustment. Ça fait que ça remet du temps aussi pour la préparation de sa clôture. C'est juste, je voudrais qu'on soit clair ce soir pour ce couple. Est-ce qu'on dit comme...
Si vous votez favorablement à la demande de l'administration, j'ai parlé avec Mme Tremblay, puis elle m'indique que la prochaine réunion est le 10. Donc, on pourrait...
Ça serait capable d'être ajouté à l'agenda du 10.
Et à cet agenda-là, mais en allant de cette manière-là, juste qu'il soit au courant, il y a un frais encouru quand que tu fais une demande pour ça.
Oui, il y a un frais d'encouru.
Juste pour qu'ils savent de combien qui est le frais.
On avait parlé de 200 $.
Ça serait-tu possible, puisqu'on a débuté le processus avant que ça soit en place? Monsieur Leduc, je ne sais pas, c'est-tu possible d'oublier le frais dans ce cas-ci? Similaire comme quand on a fait avec la Madeleine, on avait waivé des the process had started before the actual, tu sais, ça commençait avant. Je me demande si c'est possible.
Les frais sont reliés à un règlement. Le frais est relié à un processus. Ça nécessite des ressources, ça nécessite des dépenses, ça c'est certain. L'administration n'est pas en place de vous dire de ne pas l'appliquer. Le règlement est là. Donc, le conseil a le pouvoir de ne pas l'appliquer. Mais nous, on ne peut pas vous recommander autrement que d'appliquer le règlement qui est en place.
Okay, so si conseil décide they want to waive the $200, then we have to give that direction to administration at this point in time if we approve this bylaw. That way, I just think it's fair because the process has, you know, Monsieur Rochon and his wife came before us before we actually had this process in place. That's just my 2 cents. Councillor Pohl, you had a comment?
No, I agree with that. Mine was, if you can turn to page 41, under the exception applications, under section 3, one of the requirements is for a property survey. I don't know in every single case where somebody's asking for an exemption that you have to go out and get a survey of your property or get something prepared. I was thinking, add the words "or similar skilled drawing," so something else could be provided, because if you're only asking for an extension of 2 or 3 feet to go out and get a $1,000 survey just for, you know, a simple exemption, in that case, maybe a sketch that's scaled would suffice, rather than going out and getting a survey done. The next one was section 9, which deals with the hearing itself. The committee shall render its decision. Also, I wanted to see a condition in there that the committee can also place conditions or may impose conditions on the proposed fence. Same as our minor variance committee, we can impose conditions on a minor variance, so this being an exception, that if the committee felt that there was a condition that should be placed, you could also use a condition there to have that available as a tool.
Madame Bordeaux?
There's no problem adding that.
Okay. So ça va être accepté dans la section des bylaws. Madame Camille Laflamme, je ne sais pas si on a le temps de juste faire les minor adjustments puis le ramener à ce point-là. OK, parfait. Councillor Saucier?
So he has to go to the Committee of Adjustment at the end of the month?
No, on the 10th.
The 10th, okay, good. Because I was just going to say, I'm sure they want it done before winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Councillor Lorrain?
Yes, for Madame Tremblay. Because it's a fence bylaw coming to the Committee of Adjustments, there's no notice that's required for that?
Madame Tremblay?
So in the bylaw, we had the provision that, yes, there's notices that needs to be sent to the neighbors. We mentioned 10 days. Today would be the 10th day. But if council agrees, since we have a committee that is already on the 10th, the notices would be sent tomorrow. And then I suggest that we still proceed with the 10th.
Yeah.
There's no regulation. This is just a suggestion based on the minor variance application under the act. But if council could reduce the number of days as presented in the bylaw, usually that's the typical 10 days before a minor variance.
So that's just our bylaw and policy. It has nothing under the Planning Act and therefore cannot be appealed at what used to be the OMB because we're not 10 days versus 9 days?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I have no problem making the change to 9 days in this circumstance so that we can speed up that process for further notions. I don't have a problem with that. I just want to make sure we were covered in case of any issues.
So just the reason why we're adding as well a bylaw that says that we're giving jurisdiction to the Committee of Adjustment to deal with those applications, because it's not a Planning Act bylaw, it's
Right.
under the Municipal Act. So that's why you have a bylaw as well, to give power to the Committee of Adjustment to deal with the fence bylaw.
Right, we're putting the proper process in
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
Councillor Saucier?
Well, I was just going to mention, so that's October 10th. That's also the night of the candidate debate. So just letting you know that,
That's,
Councillor Laurent.
yeah, that's, ben, c'est la soirée normale pour ce comité-là.
No, it's not, but the committee already received the email and confirmed their availability, so
Okay,
I have the quorum.
you have quorum?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
D'autres questions, commentaires? Conseiller Brisson?
Ben, dans la circonstance, je proposerais aussi que les frais soient non appliqués
Dans ce cas-ci.
pour ce cas ici, dans cette circonstance-là. Puis là, pour que ça soit plus clair aussi avec ce bylaw-là, c'est quoi les procédures à cette heure, mais pour la circonstance qu'il n'y ait pas de frais appliqués.
I think everybody is okay with that in this case, to waive the $200 fee. Okay. Parfait. Move on to the next item. Item D, pedestrian crossing analysis, report ISPW 13-2018. Council receives report ISPW 13-2018 and approved to proceed with the improvement listed in the report, and approves to send the resolution to the Public Works Committee of the United Counties Prescott and Russell to share the capital cost of the pedestrian crossing at the roundabout in Emblem and on Craig Street in Russell. Questions, comments, members of council? Councilor Associate?
Okay, I'm confused about removing the ladders. So how do we indicate that people are crossing, number one? And what are we replacing it with?
So, Monsieur Leduc, Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. So essentially, in order to respect the guidelines that imposed by the province, those ladders at the trail itself, the crossing, it's not recommended. So to be in line with the guidelines, only proper signs to advise the vehicles that there's a crossing, and to also advise the pedestrian that they need to yield to vehicle incoming. So, and that's based on the Ontario Traffic Manual.
So by removing the ladder lines, some people are confusing that they have the right of way to go, and then we're just going to clarify.
And if I can add as well, like if I take St. Pierre or 80 Road as an example, the bollard in the center of the street would remain though. Only the line painting would be removed.
My concern is just, again, visibility and safety and things like that, you know, like, I'm just, you know, because then the ballards are also removed come fall, right? Pretty soon, probably. But I just, you know, it's marking, I guess, is my concern, that we know that's a crossing there.
Councilor Lorrain?
Yeah, I'll just make one quick comment to the audience, because there's a lady that wants to say something. Unfortunately, there's only a period at the end, near the end of the meeting, for public discussions, questions. So.
Toute l'information est dans le rapport, madame. Oui, mais on peut le mentionner, il y a des coûts associés. So, were you finished, Councilor?
No,
Go ahead.
Because I seen her putting up her hand a couple times. So here's where I get concerned. So the way I'm seeing this, and correct me if I'm wrong, are we suggesting that in the roundabout that we stop for pedestrians? Because I see stop for pedestrians in the pictures.
Yeah.
And then everywhere else, we're not stopping for pedestrians? I mean, isn't it proper to have it all one way in the entire municipality? Whether it's always stop for pedestrians or never stop for pedestrians, so that there's no confusion, regardless of what lines are on the street? Because I think this will be confusing. And I know right now people stop in the roundabout, and it gets dangerous.
Thank you,
So-
Conseiller Lorrain. I believe the picture is not accurate, where they're actually talking about bringing it down considerably. So you could fit, like, you won't be stopping in the roundabout where it is currently. They'll back up the crossing 2-3 cars further down. So you'll get a couple cars out of the roundabout, and that's where the crossing would be. But correct me if I'm wrong, Monsieur Bourgon?
Mr. Mayor, that's exactly what you're mentioning. We'll be moving and we're gonna create a real pedestrian crossing at that location. So with the proper lights in place to warn the vehicle that they need to stop for a pedestrian, which in the other cases where the trail crosses the road, it's not a pedestrian crossing, it's only a trail. So that's why, like, it would be marked differently.
Will we be putting signs there that says pedestrians yield to vehicles?
Yeah, we'll put the proper signage to advise that specific location around the roundabout. And at the other crossing, that pedestrian need to yield for a vehicle.
Okay, and there'll be public information, whether it be in the newspaper, in their pamphlets for their taxes, other communications like that, so that we get that message out to the public, and not just Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, because I think that we really need to make sure the entire municipality understands this from a change perspective, because it is a change. whether we like it or not, if we're taking off the cross guards. The other question I have is regarding the pool crossing. Was that one identified, and how are we fixing that problem? Because we can't just take the lines off.
Monsieur Bourgon?
That one, no, we're not taking the lights out. We're actually adding signs to yield for pedestrian.
To yield,
The same as this one.
A
okay,
bit differently, since it's not the same level of crossing, but there's proper signage, again, identified for that type of crossing.
perfect. Now, my last comment that I'll have on this section here is, we just had the road paved. We just had the lines put on in the last couple of days. Is there a way to have on either side, and I know we've got a sign there in French and in English further down, but not up towards the playground and the pool crossing? I don't know if it's a marking on the ground that says no driving on shoulder or no passing, something to that effect. Because what happens is people that are turning into their driveways, turning left into their driveways or on Castal, cars go around them on the shoulder. And because it's a paved shoulder, they go ahead and do it, right? But I think we really need some markings on the road itself that say no passing. Is that possible?
Monsieur Bourgon?
Well, if we, just to finish up with around the pool crossing, there's signage that goes with all the no passing here because of the crossing. And as for further on, we can discuss with the counties.
Yeah, because I believe they have some similar signs here. There's some at the pool, but, you know,
What's there now is inadequate. Okay? It's plain and simple, it doesn't work. So we need to make sure we ensure the safety of our children, and right now it's not safe for them to cross, so,
Yeah, around the crossing, the proper measure, we'll have to put some, those bollards, the little black posts as well, to limit the access, to make sure that the
make sure the
vehicles-
cars don't go over.
Exactly.
That's
So
what I wanna
around the
hear.
crossing, the proper measure will be put in place.
Thank you.
Councillor Saucier?
And are we still gonna have like the stop signs on the bike path? Yes? Because I mean, we have stop signs and, you know, nobody adheres to it. They just go sailing through. And then if we're taking away what the cars see as a crossing, you know, that's my concern. I know, but it happens every
It would be
day.
nice if everybody followed the proper signage.
I know.
Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. Councillor Brisson?
C'est juste pour clarifier, d'où qu'il y a le crossing, comme c'est le roundabout, de combien qui repousserait de plus loin? Les mesures, j'en ai pas vu exactement, là. De combien de plus loin, d'où qui est comme c'est là, que ça serait repoussé?
Monsieur Bourgon?
Le minimum requis, c'est 12 mètres. Donc, nous, on irait probablement plus près du 20 mètres là, du rond-point.
Sur à peu près 60 pieds du...
Exactement.
OK.
De façon à ce qu'on alloue la bonne espace, que le véhicule s'arrête, qui est un 6 mètres, puis s'assurer qu'on est capable d'avoir quelques véhicules là, qui est en attente.
Fait que là, la trail, elle va avoir continué plus loin, parce que comme c'est là, arrête là. Fait qu'elle
Exactement.
va aller,
Donc, partie, comme mentionné dans le rapport, partie des améliorations, c'est pas juste de mettre les affiches puis les lumières clignotantes, mais aussi de rajouter du pavé là, pour prolonger la piste là, de cette longueur-là.
Mais ça, c'est tout à nos coûts, la piste à nos coûts, mais la chose des pancartes et les lumières, ça, c'est partagé 50-50.
Encore, pour cette amélioration-là, dans la recommandation, c'est de demander au comté de payer 50% de toute
tout.
l'amélioration en total. Autant les affiches clignotants, mais aussi là, les modifications à la piste.
OK, parce que je pensais
C'est
que...
sur la partie sur Craig Street qu'on fait la demande de seulement les
Ah,
affiches.
OK. Je savais que j'avais vu qu'il y avait une partie qui avait juste les affiches, mais c'est juste Greg. OK.
So, si je regarde vite fait dans le rapport, on regarde si tous les coûts sont partagés, on regarde à une vingtaine de mille piastres sur notre bord. Township share would be 16,500
Pour ce qui est du rond-point,
du
c'est
rond-point.
exact.
Puis ça, c'est le gros le gros des projets, c'est ça.
Et puis, si on va de l'avant avec ce qui est proposé sur Craig Street,
Street.
avec l'installation
Si on
du
dit-
trottoir,
Ça,
Ouais,
évidemment, ça, c'est un plus gros coût.
exactement. Puis là, on parle, c'est estimé à environ 50 000
Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? Councilleur Lorrain?
Since we're still talking about crossing and safety, is there a way to put lines to cross the street at the corner of, whether it's South Russell, North Russell, Concession, where it meets, Craig Street? There's nothing that goes across this way to, like, what's it called, east-west? I think there used to be bricks or something in the past, but they're gone, and the kids don't know where to cross.
Yeah,
So-
we could look at to have some pedestrian lines.
That would be,
And
that
that
would be
could-
great.
Just the
follow-
basic
Yeah,
standard lines.
exactly. Well,
Yes.
That's a discussion we can have with the counties as well, on a separate matter than the
Yeah.
resolution.
There's ones that go east-west, or sorry, north-south,
Not,
but not east-west where the kids can cross to go to, Russell Public School.
Councillor Saucier?
Just one more point about the pool, and I don't know if the counties could partner with that, but I saw it in another town where they had the flashing light overhead, and it made a noise, you know, that when people are crossing over from the pool. I was in a town recently, and I just thought they were so visible and so effective. And, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of overhead, and it had X's, like above, and then they
Oh, yes.
flash.
Yes. Monsieur Bourgon?
I know what you mean. Those X's are, there's different types now, but that's not the model we're recommending tonight. Those are for a higher types of crossing where you need to have the appropriate volume of traffic and pedestrian in order to warrant those type of crossing.
So the province sets standards based on the number of pedestrians, based on
Yes.
the number of vehicles, and the combination of the two, at which level of crossing you
Mhm.
put at that point.
Exactly.
And
Perfect.
just, except in the summer, there's a lot of kids crossing there. And
And
families.
that's the reason why the crossing is actually warrant at that location.
Okay, perfect.
Because if it was, I remember this report coming at the county level, and it was, they weren't looking at necessarily putting anything there because the numbers, even though there's a lot of kids during the summertime, it wasn't justified based on the criteria of the province, but we pushed for having that crossing there. Okay. D'autres questions, commentaires? Anything else to add from the administration? No. Move on to the next item, item E, management review of the DWQMS report, ISWAT 02-2018. The council receives report ISWAT 02-2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and acknowledges the receipt of the minutes taken from the QMS management review meeting held on September 18th, 2018. Questions, comments? Councillor Saucier.
So this report came out, and then we had an issue after the report. Is that what's correct? Because we also received that there was a high coliform reading, and I'm wondering also, why was there no boil order issued?
That was-
Councillor Saucier, Monsieur Bourgon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, those events happen after
This
after
report?
those formal report. All those instant will appear in our 2018 report, which will be presented to council in 2019.
Okay,
And just to clarify, there was one test that came back, but the following, I believe, 3 days of testing confirmed that there was not a problem.
That's correct.
Parfait.
So we just follow procedure in that case.
Other questions, comments? Anything to else, admin? Conseiller Brisson?
Just a question, for having a boiling,
Water advisory?
advisory, is it with the first test that has coliform, and is it with the number, like, comment haut qui est? C'est quoi les...
La procédure
le
pour aller
procédure?
à ce point-là. Monsieur Bourgon?
In those type of events, there's different cases. So yes, the type of bacteria detected in the water could be one flagged. It's always the Ministry of Health that would tell us how to proceed in those cases. So it's really case by case. There's there's different mechanism and that will trigger boiling advisory.
And this one was far from
Well,
adding.
it's, and sometimes a part of water main, just in preventive manner.
Yeah, no problem.
Monsieur Leduc?
Just to add that these samplings are done by hand. Nothing says this could have been just by handling the test material, that somebody's hand dirty falls into the whatever sample, and it shows up like that. It may not have come out from the tap at all. So we have different points of locations where we take samples, and in this one, it showed up like that, but it could have been just a manhandling issue.
Yeah, and that's why
It
we
could
go
be
ahead
that.
with the procedure of testing, of taking samples day after day and sending them for outside testing to make sure that this isn't an issue. Okay? D'autres questions, commentaires? No? Move on. Item F, Community Grants Report PR 26-2018. That council receives report PR 26-2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and approves the following departments' recommendations for community grant donations in 2018 to the following groups. 1, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $309 to Prescott and Russell Community Services for the rental of the Emmeram Community Center for the volunteer thank you dinner on December 8th, 2018. 2, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $1,156 to the King Club of Russell for the rental of the Emmeram Community Center for the Roasted Duck à la Menard event on December 1st, 2018. Item 3, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $200 to Emblem Minor Hockey Association for the rental of the Palais des Sports Hall for their team photo night from November 19th to November 20th, 2018. 4, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $465 to Freedom Dog Rescue for the rental of the Frank Kennard Hall for their trivia night on November 24th, 2018. And 5, to decline an in-kind grant in the amount of $1,520 to United Way Prescott Russell for the rental of the bowling hall in November for the tournament from November 3rd to November 18th, 2018. According to Community Grants and Contributions Guidelines, these requests meet our requirements for funding. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Brisson.
C'est juste pour savoir la raison pour le 5e, le United Ways. Pourquoi qu'il avait été refusé? Plus de détails.
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Guittard, je crois que c'est un organisme régional puis pas local, c'est ça?
Merci, Monsieur le maire, Madame du Conseil, c'est exact. Quand c'est une organisation régionale, je dois le non recommander. Le Conseil a toujours la liberté de refuser ma recommandation.
Madame qui a remiré la flamme, je demanderais qu'on enlève section F du consent item, puis on va voter sur celle-là séparée. Other questions, comments? No? Okay. We'll move on to the next item. Item G, agreement between the Township of Russell and the Russell Agricultural Society, report PR 27-2018. That council receives report PR 27-2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and approves the signing of the agreement between the Township of Russell and the Russell Agricultural Society. Questions, comments? Councilor Saucier.
So this agreement is specifically for the fair? No, just a general agreement with them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, merci.
Other questions, comments? Quelque Councilor Paul?
Yeah, just that they're in agreement with all of the conditions in the agreement?
Madame Guittard?
Merci, Monsieur le maire, Madame du Conseil. Yes, we've met, I think, early July, and the highlighted sections in yellow were the topics that I did discuss with Mrs. Weaver and Mr. Turkelson. So if everything is approved tonight, I will go back to them to sign the agreement, and it should be formalized at that point.
Parfait. D'autres questions? Councilor Saucier?
I was just wondering if we had considered in the agreement, like, for their events to have recycling at the fair. Like this year when I was in the arena, there wasn't even any recycling inside the arena. I had to go look for a blue box. I was working in the event. So I asked staff to go and find some recycle bins. So I'm just wondering if maybe we could include that in the agreement, that they would make sure that they were visible in the building.
Monsieur Leduc?
Monsieur le maire, du conseil, would that be specifically for the fair only or for all their run activities?
Well, I would say all the activities, but that was where I particularly noticed it being absent.
Conseiller Brisson?
In principle, that's perfect, but I know what did happen because they did have some outside, and they said that the recycling bin had to, whether they passed through all of it, because most of the people had put some garbage in it, and they finish in garbage anyways. It's too bad that we cannot train the people to respect those, but that's the only problem too, and
Sometimes it takes signage, that's all.
D'autres questions, commentaires? Anything to add? Monsieur Leduc?
So what's the direction of council on that matter? Recycling?
I would suggest that, I'm fine with the contract as is, but I think we should, whenever possible, whenever they're having events, that we encourage recycling and we give them, if they need supplies from us to make it happen, I think, in my opinion, I think that would be good. If council is okay with that, just giving the direction to let them know that you're more than willing to help during their events for recycling purposes. Councillor Saucier?
Well, my concern is it is in our community grants application regulation that like it's required at these events, and then they're supposed to give a report after. I mean, I have to do the same for the Terry Fox, so if we're giving money, then maybe, and it's in our contract as part of the stipulation and regulation that the group should adhere to it.
So that could be part of the discussion when they reapply for their funding next year, to mention that if that's an issue. Councillor Lorrain?
The question that I have is, in this new contract, because I see it in the report, we talk about the community grant of $8,000. Is that actually in the contract, that we're going to give them $8,000 every year? Or is it that they're going to continue to apply every year for it?
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Guittard?
Merci, Monsieur le Maire, Madame du Conseil. No, that section was because council had requested back in 2017 to see on a yearly basis what the township was giving out to the the Agricultural Society. So that's why you saw that $8,000, because I did account for everything that we give them on a yearly basis. And that's not part of the agreement. It has nothing to do with the agreement. It's just an extra that I put in my report because the council had requested back in 2017 to see those numbers.
No, it's good. I mean, we need to know what those numbers are. But I agree with Councillor Saucier that if they apply, that if we are giving them $8,000 funding, part of the community grants is a recycling program process. So I think they need to adhere to that to get that funding, so.
Correct. D'autres questions, commentaires? Quelque chose à ajouter de la part de l'administration? No? Item H, discretionary funding from counties, report PR 28-2018. The council receives report PR 28-2018 dated October 1st, 2018, and confirms that the $10,000 received from the United Counties of Prescott and Russell was used towards the operations and purchase of equipment for the Barracuda swim team at the Russell Centennial Pool and its different swimming programs, and that the purchase of equipment for the Russell Sports Dome. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? No? Perfect. We'll move on. Notice motions, we have none. Item 13, question period on the meeting of the day. So I'll ask anyone who has a question on the meeting of the day to please come up to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. Si vous avez des questions, s'il vous plaît, venir au lutrin puis dire votre nom puis votre adresse, s'il vous plaît.
Colleen Moore, 1093 Notre Dame Street, Embrun. Just regarding item D, I forget what number it is, the pedestrian crossing analysis. With all those changes, wondering if notice could be sent to all the local schools. I don't know if that's normally done or not, but with good kid visuals, and then we can cover it as part of our health and safety curriculum.
At the school.
Yeah, at all the schools.
Perfect. Monsieur Leduc, Monsieur Bourgon. That's something we can do, definitely. Perfect. Thank you very much. D'autres questions, commentaires, other questions? Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour, René Mialik, 557 Marseille Street. Moi, je voudrais savoir, est-ce que vous dépensez 20 000 là, pour ce projet-là? Est-ce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui passent là? Je sais pas.
C'est une étude qui a été faite, puis ils ont compté le nombre de gens qui traversaient à ces locales-là, puis c'est basé sur les standards de la province. Alors, c'est pas juste quelque chose qui est lancé dans les airs, là. Il y a une étude qui a été faite à ce niveau-là. Monsieur Bourgon, c'est...
Merci, M. Vallon, exactement. Puis et on prend avantage aussi du fait que les comtés unis ont un programme en place pour payer 50% des frais.
Est-ce que le comté a déjà approuvé ça ou comment
Non,
ça fonctionne?
ça va être envoyé aux comtés unis pour être approuvé au niveau des comtés unis. Puis si jamais c'est pas approuvé, puis comme le conseil approuve ça, ça va aux comtés unis. C'est pas approuvé au niveau des comtés unis. Là, l'administration ramènera ça à la table du conseil et nous laisser savoir que les comtés ont dit non, puis comment on voudrait procéder dans ce point-là.
OK. Puis combien de personnes est-ce que l'étude dit? Je sais pas.
Je suis obligé de regarder à travers du rapport, M. Bourgon.
Monsieur le maire, on a les montants, les chiffres, ça ne font pas partie du rapport, mais c'est de l'information là, qu'on pourrait fournir.
On pourrait vous fournir les chiffres. madame.
OK. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Other questions? No? Okay, item 14, resolution. Motion that council approve all the recommendations listed on agenda under item number 11 from departments and council committees. And I need a mover and a seconder to remove item F. Councilor Brisson, Councilor Paul. All those in favor of removing item F and voting on that one separately? Approved? Okay, so in the case, so we will vote on,
Monsieur le maire, est-ce que ça, c'était l'amendement? Est-ce que quelqu'un a mis le main motion on the table?
main motion pour mettre ça à table. So main motion to put it on the table, Councilor Brisson, Councilor Lorrain. And then to item F, to remove that one, Conseiller Brisson and Councilor Paul.
Merci.
Merci. So all those except for item F, all those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. We'll now review item F again. The Community Grants Report PR 2618. It's, on l'a sur la table avec les deux, ou tu veux-tu que je mette quelqu'un d'autre pour la mettre sur la table? Le item F. On a eu un mover and seconder pour l'enlever. Tu veux un mover puis seconder pour le mettre sur la table. So I need a mover and seconder to put it back on table. Conseiller Brisson, Councilor Saucier, to put it on the table. Okay. So questions, Conseiller Brisson?
Je voyais que c'était du 3 au 18. Est-ce que c'est à chaque jour? Comment que ça marche? C'est quoi
The time span.
le time span dedans?
Madame Guittard?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, usually it lasts over 2 weekends. That's the Tournoi Bizarre. So usually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it starts the Friday to the Sunday, 2 weekends in a row.
Okay. Juste clarification aussi. Nous autres, on a la beurre dans ce cas-là. Ces fins de semaine-là, c'est-tu nous autres qui la beurre ou c'est l'organisme?
Merci, Monsieur le maire, membre du conseil. Oui, c'est notre salle de quilles, donc les opérations à l'intérieur nous appartiennent. Donc oui, il y a des revenus supplémentaires qui se font à la barre parce qu'il y a beaucoup d'équipes qui jouent.
OK. Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? Conseiller Brisson?
Juste le commentaire que oui, c'est une chose nationale, mais c'est quand même de quoi que notre municipalité bénéficie au travers de United Ways.
Oui.
Ça fait que c'est pour ça que je recommanderais d'accepter.
OK. So, une modification to change number 5, to change à place de refuser, d'approuver. So I have Councilor Brisson who's moving it. Do I have a seconder to approve the grant request? Conseiller Lorrain? Although, oui, Councilor Lorrain?
I'll second it, but I got a question for staff before I vote on it.
That's correct. You're seconded it to put that on the table,
Yeah.
and now we can discuss it.
Okay.
Okay, Conseiller Lorrain?
I'd like to know from staff whether or not we have $1,560 in the in-kind grant available in consideration of any additional pre-approved requests that are still for the rest of the year.
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Guittard?
Yes, if you look at your budget, usually all the pre-approved are already calculated in your sum. So therefore, there's still some money left after the $1,500. after all the pre-approveds.
After all the pre-approved,
That's
if we
right.
were to add this,
That's
there's
right.
still funds left
Yes.
in that
How
account.
much?
Combien? What's it,
$2,700.
2,700. If
Mhm.
we approve,
That's in kind, yeah.
then it'll go down
In
to
money, we
1,200?
still- Yeah, in money, we still have $8,600.
Okay, so s'il reste 2,700 in kind, if we approve this, it'll go down to 1,200, but we also have $8,600 of
In
funds
cash.
available.
That's right.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Councillor Paul?
Yeah, one of the issues with the bowling alley is you have costs associated with electricity and all the operations of that facility. I might be open to maybe half of the requested amount. We cover one weekend, they cover the other weekend, just to offset some of our costs associated with it. It's not just your typical room that we're just renting out and that's it.
Okay. Well, we have a, to approve, mover and a seconder. Councillor Paul made a suggestion. Would you be okay with that suggestion?
Yeah.
Would you be okay to have that as a compromise, to have the, half the cost? Instead of the 18?
Either way, it's whatever council wants. If council wants to do the whole thing, I'm okay either way.
Okay.
It's okay.
Right, you're okay with half? Councillor Lorrain, either way, Councillor Saucier? So we'll change the recommendation to approve $7,510, 705, non,
Half.
760 $. 760. Je fais pas souvent la mathématique.
7,000,
juste-
là.
OK.
Est-ce qu'on a quelqu'un pour faire l'amendement numéro 2, pour changer le montant?
J'ai demandé si l'appuyeur puis le secondaire, il
Les
était
deux
prêt
étaient
à...
d'accord?
Il était d'accord.
OK, à 760.
À 760, oui.
Merci.
OK. So now on a fait l'ajustement. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. We'll now move on to item 15, bylaws. Bylaws, and motion that council approves bylaw 2018-129 to 2018-131 inclusively for first, second, and third reading as listed on the agenda. 129 being a bylaw to amend the fence bylaw 92-2012, and Madame Cameron Laflamme, the changes have been made.
Yes, if you'd like me, I can read the changes.
Yes,
if you want.
please.
So it was requested for the fence bylaw number 3A. It was only property survey before, so now it would read property survey, comma, or similar scale drawing. And the second amendment was at number 9. We had, following a hearing, the committee shall render its decision, and it was added, and they may impose conditions.
Is that okay, everybody? Just for clarification. As well, we gave the direction to waive the $200 fee. That doesn't have to be in the bylaw, obviously, but just making sure that que l'administration est au courant de cela. Then we have 2018-130 being a bylaw to amend Schedule B1, Committee Adjustment of the Committee Bylaw 2017-108, Report PIC 27-2018. 2018-131 being a bylaw to authorize the signature of a revised agreement with the Russell Agricultural Society for the common use of the municipal recreational facilities and society facilities and land, Report PR 27-2018. And there's also the celui qu'on a ajouté, Madame Cameron Laflamme, pour le subdivision, signature of the subdivision agreement. Peux-tu juste lire le... Parce que je l'ai pas sur ma feuille ici. Okay, je l'ai dans ce package. Being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute and affix the corporate seal to a subdivision agreement between EMB Developments, Inc. and the corporation and Township of Russell, and that's bylaw number 2018-132. So, I need a mover and a seconder put on table. Councillor Paul, Councillor Brisson. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 16, new business reports, we have none. Item 17, other business presented by council members. We have 17A, Councillor Saucier for the firefighter gala.
Okay, j'ai entendu le gala de pompiers samedi soir, and I was very happy to be there, and I just wanted to note that congratulations were given for years of service. We thank both our Russell and Emblem Fire Departments So Bruce Armstrong, Chief Armstrong for 25 years service, Dwayne Bourguignon for 25 years service, Eon Brun, Danielle Opry for 25 years service, and Danielle Imard, 25 years service, and Darcy Provo for 30 years of service. So, merci beaucoup. And also, I'd like to say publicly, because I omitted it last time, that I wanted to thank both our fire departments for assisting with the Terry Fox Run each and every year and ensuring our participants are safe. So, thank you for all you do and for your service.
Thank you very much, Councillor Saucier. I think that deserves a round of applause. Congratulations to all the members. Great job, guys. Keep it up. Councillor Saucier, item B, debates.
I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of the upcoming evenings that we're having. So October 4th, this Thursday at 7 p.m. at SDA, St. Thomas Aquinas High School, will be, it's like a meet and greet. There'll be questions for the mayor candidates, and then we will be each giving a 4-minute talk, and then people can approach our table and ask questions and get their concerns answered, because there's been some confusion on the format. And then October 9th at the Emblem Community Center at 7 p.m. is the French debate. And on October 10th, which is Wednesday, October 10th at 7 p.m., is the English debate at the Emblem Community Center. So just so the public's aware, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Saucier. Item 17C, Councillor Poll for sewer and water.
Yeah, I had a question yesterday from an individual who lives just close to a water tower in Russell, south of the water tower, asking if they're going to be charged a sewer charge of $8,400, and they were confused, saying council passed something on August 13th indicating that we passed something that they're going to be charged for this, and they were confused and asking me. I'm looking at her going, I'm not sure. I understand since that somebody has put out a flyer or a pamphlet running for an election that's put that kind of information out, and maybe get some clarification on that, because I don't believe we've approved charging residents in a subdivision right now $8,400 for water, sewer, or anything like that. I just want some clarification on that, because I don't like that going out there, and I'm getting hit sideways by it and thinking, what? I'm not sure that we've ever approved this. And
Monsieur Leduc, Monsieur Bourgon.
Well, the current status of this bylaw has had one reading back in June, and if the minutes of October 13th, it says that this bylaw is postponed until staff research more options and provides more further information. So at this point in time, there's been no decision by council to approve such a fee. It's being discussed, and we've been given direction to look at more options and some costing issues regarding how much this would be impacting every resident that is involved here. So at this point, there's been no further action on this to bring to council for adoption.
Okay, merci, Monsieur Leduc. Councillor Lorrain.
On the heels of that as well, though, if I remember correctly, that there's also supposed to be communication with each and every affected resident and holding a public session or two, depending on the size of the response to those to that prior to it coming back to council. Am I accurate?
Monsieur Leduc.
You're accurate in the sense that we had said that we would like to come back to council, for example, for a second reading, to know exactly what to say to residents when we make presentations to those people involved. So that's why there's been no such meetings organized yet at this point, when we're trying to get a review of our information and bring it forward to council for a second review. And then once the council sees it the second time, now we have more information regarding what's the outcome of those discussions, and then we go out and do the consultation process.
Okay, merci. Councillor Lorrain and Councillor Saucier.
And then from, let's say it does come back for second reading, and then you go back to the public, are you taking suggestions from the public who may be able to offer different points of view on the matter and then present that back to council, or will it be the same presentation coming back to council from second reading to third reading and just having the comments listed without any changes? I just want to know, I just want to understand that whole process to be able to explain it to people as well.
Monsieur Leduc?
Well, for us, since that last presentation, we have recognized that there's an existing bylaw right now, bylaw 21155, that was passed by council without the consultation process. For us, it has to be clear when we bring it back to council, what's the consultation process? Will it be informative only, or consultative, where you want us to bring back suggestions, recommendations, or concerns? But at this point, that's what we're working on when we present to council the second time around.
Okay.
Just to clarify, the 2011-55 is very similar to the capital charges bylaw we're looking at putting in place currently, is that correct?
That's a capital charge bylaw for residents in Russell and Marionville when we added this new loop from the reservoir to the village of Russell.
Okay, I see. Councillor Sosi, I believe you had,
Well, actually, Councillor Laurent asked a lot of things. My recollection was we were going to hold a public meeting, and 2011-55 is also the previous council that approved that, so I would still like to see that we do hold the public meeting.
thank you. Councillor Lorrain?
I'm going to suggest to council that the intention of the discussion that I had at that August 13th meeting was to prepare a consultative discussion with the residents and not a I don't know what word I'm gonna, not to be just a communication to those affected, but to actually seek consultation from them. And like I mentioned, it's, you know, and I spoke to some of the residents, it's not there to be I don't want to pay it and that's it. It's how can we understand why we're paying something and what is the proper implementation process for it. So I want to make sure that there's a consultative piece to this prior to it coming back to council.
Right.
It's my opinion anyway.
Thank you very much. Now, if I understand Mr. Leduc's comments, you want to bring information once, because there was a lot of questions, and I had several meetings with residents and senior staff as well. I believe Councillor Lorrain had meetings with residents as well. There was a lot of questions, so we informed you of those questions. Staff are looking at those questions, getting answers to those questions. Then they'll come back to council and provide answers, if you will, to those questions, and then council can give a direction once they have that information, how to further proceed. Is that the plan from the administrative side, Mr. Leduc?
That's exactly, and we also agree that we will be doing consultative if that's what council wants us to do. We're not against that. It's just a matter, we want to bring more information to council before we're going ahead, so we know exactly what to say and exactly what we're looking for in the consultation process.
Thank you, Mr. Leduc. Other questions, comments? Thank you. Okay. Move on to item 18, public meetings, hearings. We have none. Item 19, pursuant to section 239(2), 3, and 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, Chapter 25. Motion to move into closed session at the hour of 7:03 p.m. to address matters pertaining to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, Chapter 25, to consider matters relating to 1. Sale of land in industrial park. Section 2C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Lorrain, seconded by Councillor Paul. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. We are now in closed session. Thank you very much, everyone.